So yesterday I booked an Airbnb place in Sedona to stay from May 15th to June 14th for a month. So I wanted to share a little bit about how that process happened. So I don't know, maybe a week ago, I went on Airbnb just to see what was available in Sedona or in the surrounding area. And the prices were rather shocking to me because I just don't tend to think in those terms of paying those amounts for short periods of time. But I found this one place. It was away from Sedona and it seemed sort of like a reasonable price. And it was rather plain, but it seemed like it would be, fine. But I didn't feel ready. It's like I told myself, you don't have to book this right away. If it's the right thing, it'll still be there when you come back to it. Because I get this thing, and I think this is very common, where you think, oh, I have to grab this now or it'll go away and then I don't know what I'll do. But I just made the decision to say, okay, I'm not really ready. I'm just looking. I don't have to make a decision yet. I don't have to jump on this out of fear that it will go away. And if it does go away, then there's probably something better. But so that was just my initial checking to see what was available. And so I left it at that. And as I've been going through my process, I'm sort of sharing my plans with some people who mean a lot to me, and just sort of getting used to the ideas in my own mind of what I want to do or what I think I'm going to do. Just sort of moving into that slowly, getting a vision, starting to get a vision, and then thinking about what is my part for participating in that vision. And so yesterday I just felt like going on Airbnb again, and I looked at the place again that I was considering, and it looked good, looked pretty good. It was a decent place. I don't feel like I need to spend a lot of money to get the best. I prefer to get a bargain. But then I just noticed this other place, and it was twice the price because the one I had found was quite low compared to anything else I had seen on there. And it was twice the price, but I was sort of going through this process of saying, well, I have the money for this, and I need to just make a decision to be willing to spend the money for this. And that, I have this program that tends to always look for the cheapest price on everything. But often paying that means compromising, being willing to take what you can get for a lower price, which is often less than what you can get for more. And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's good enough. But I realized that I was sort of wanting more. And so when I saw this other place, it had really beautiful views. And I realized that I was reading over everything in the one that I was first considering, and just, checking it all out, reading all the reviews, trying to, really get familiar with it. because I have this tendency to just make decisions based on my intuition, which is fine. But sometimes it's good to, learn a little more and pay a little more attention ahead of time to what I want and don't want, or like and don't like. So, I read some things, so, some reviews and various things, and just tried to pay more attention. And I was realizing that one of the most important things about, well, any place that I am, is that I feel inspired by beautiful views. And, I'm not a real doer. I'm not a person who goes and wants to do a bunch of stuff when I go somewhere. But I do really love to have a beautiful view, and that's something I have been missing in the last few years. Something I would like to have in my life is a really beautiful panoramic view of nature in some form. And this other place looked like it had that. It looked like it was just right there in the midst of the beautiful red rock formations there in Sedona. And that's what I feel drawn to. And that's what I feel like, the energy in those rocks, and perhaps the beings that are in those rocks, is really what's calling me there. That's what I feel. So it was a small place, and I like small places. I say I like small places. Sometimes I like bigger ones. Sometimes, maybe I like to make myself small, and sometimes I make myself a little too small. But I do like small places as opposed to big ones. And so this place was smaller, was less, in size, less of the house available to me. It's basically just a studio apartment, but I looked at that and it looked pretty and it looked like it would be fine for me. And then it just had these windows open to this beautiful view, and that was just really attracting me. So I was feeling like, yeah, I think I should go with this place that just calls to my heart more, rather than the other place that just didn't. It just felt adequate, And sometimes I just settle for adequate in life, and I don't really think that's the way we're meant to live. It doesn't bring as much joy and inspiration when I do that. When I say, oh, this will be fine. So I'm looking at this other place, and then I got this idea. Well, I don't know if I'm quite ready to pull the trigger. Should I do this? Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? Is it not time yet? Even though, all the qualities of this place were basically just looking like exactly what I wanted. But then I was like, well, but I don't know. I don't know if I should decide this yet. So I went to an online tarot deck, and I picked a tarot card, and I asked the question, should I book this place now? And the answer I got was, I think it's 5 of Swords. It was like, the answer I got was no. The answer I got was about conflict and difficulty. And it was like, there's something, something here. And so I looked at that card, and I was like, I look at tarot readings a little differently now than I used to. I feel like that whenever I get a tarot card that is positive, that seems to have really positive energy to it, that's really a reflection of my higher self. And if I get a tarot card that seems to be sort of negative energy, I look at that as a reflection of my lower self, the part of me that has conflict, that feels negative and things like that. But I don't give it the same meaning I used to. I don't say, well, this is what's meant to be or what's happening. I just recognize that when a negative tarot card shows up, it's just showing an energy that is part of the picture, that is part of me, that I need to be aware of. But what I'm learning is that the part of me that is negative that I need to be aware of isn't what I make decisions by or run my life by. It's just something that I need to acknowledge and embrace in myself and reassure with my higher self that everything's okay and all is well and it's all fine. So it was like picking this tarot card, instead of like being an indication to me of, no, I shouldn't do this right now. It kind of did the opposite. It was like, oh yeah, that part inside me, that conflict, that doubt, that one that is afraid to make the decision to embrace what looks like a really good option. It's there, but I need to acknowledge it, and then I just need to move forward. So I went back to the Airbnb, and it's like it made me aware, oh yes, what I want is right in front of me. I just need to choose it. I don't need to question it. So I actually looked at some other places, thought, well, when I got that card that basically was the answer of no, I went back and started looking, well, maybe there's another place. But the more I looked at other places, the more it just sent me back to the first one I had found. And I kind of lost it for a while and had to go see if I could find it again. And once I did, I was like, yeah, this is what I want. So I booked it. And I was able to do all that with peace in my heart, to calm down, to calm myself down, the part that, gets worried about making decisions or whatever, moving forward in any way. So that's okay. That's here. Those feelings are here. But I really do know what I want to choose here. And so I'm going to make that choice. And when I did, it felt really good. It felt exciting. It's like, yes, I have identified what's important to me here, and the place I want to stay has the things that I'm really looking for, because I have to notice that for myself. What is it that's important to me here? Other people choosing a place to stay in Sedona might have lots of other things that are important to them. But what is important to me? I need to go with that, and I need to know that I can do this and find the things that are right for me. And sometimes that can feel confusing, especially when I have this part of me that thinks I can't have those things, or where those things have been denigrated by others in the past, or other people don't see things that way. And so then I've been programmed with all these ideas of what I should want and what other people want, but not what it is that I want. So I thought it was pretty cool that I could just have all that awareness as I was going through that process. And now I feel excited. It's like part of me doesn't know what I'm going to do when I get there, but I know that one of the things I'm going to do is to simply look at those surroundings, bask in the energies of those red rocks, and see what comes of that. I can do this. I can do this with awareness, with peace, with love.